We're broadcasting to YouTube.
Just to record it. Yeah, it's not public or anything. So we're back in the dusty of the Crifoth region. The sun is beating down on your black hair, Red. The gust of an arrow gave you a moment of relief in the unrelenting heat. You hear, and the rat catcher becomes the rat. For Helium, you were exploring around Elder Basha's small cave home when suddenly a gaunt skeletal hand emerged from the soil from beneath and grasped at your ankles.
Yeah.
And Xerxes. What was Xerxes doing at this time?
As Varhelion was kind of surveying around, Xerxes was just having kind of a moment of contemplation, like standing over Basha's body, just fists trembling, kind of angered at the sight of his dead master. And I can't remember, did an arrow fly into the cave at the end of last session, or was it just the skeleton?
No, it was outside.
That was outside. Okay.
It was outside the cave.
But there's a zombie hand grabbing my ankle.
And so, as we always do in this campaign, we're going to start off the night with a initiative roll, please.
Fucking bullshit. Ten.
Oh, you guys use the chat. That's awesome. Cool.
Ten. I think Red definitely has a higher dexterity than I do.
Yeah. So we started off with Xerxes. You're in this cave as well. You see this hand, the flows, as if as a creature had been starved, but it's grasping onto Verhelian's ankle. What would you like to do?
I think Xerxes would definitely be startled at the sight of this hand coming out of nowhere. Probably just mutter like, "What the?" Draws two swords and probably like slash down, try to come down, slash the hand to release Verhelion from it.
I go for it.
So I rolled a 13.
And so target this hand. And so you're not able to get a nice swing at it. You just dig, into the earth a few inches to the left. You missed.
Probably missing once. Xerxes would curse under his breath and come down with his other sword and take another slash at it. That time I rolled a 25.
Yeah, that's definitely a hit. So you dig into this wrist of this hand.
And I hit for 9 points of damage.
Yeah, awesome.
9 points of wrist damage.
Full on wrist.
Cutting those wrists. And afterwards, It kind of retracts, and immediately another hand bursts out through the soil, and a form crawls out.
Gross.
Matted, bloodied, balding in spots, falling out, and others emerges from the ground. This sunken face, these hollow orange eyes. It looks like what a woman would be if a woman had been starved and dehydrated for a little under a year. She's got some kind of unlife to her as she emerges from at your feet. Her clothes barely intact, they're half moldy, half eaten away by small rodents.
Are we like Bones? Are we like I'm Bones and Xerxes is Booth, and we're gonna solve forensic mysteries together? Because like it's pretty specific that like immediately upon seeing her, it's like, yes, she must have been dehydrated and starved for just under a year. I can see that immediately.
And she crawls up and out. And immediately she reels back her head and pounces on you, Varhelion, sinking two large incisor fangs into your flesh. It goes through your thin cloth, hitting you somewhere in your upper chest region. Piercing damage.
How much?
5 points of piercing. And I would like you to make a strength check, please.
Oh, I'm so good at these. $17.
You're able to push her off of you as she tried to grapple you. And as she bites into you, the wound that appeared on her arm knits together almost in the blink of an eye.
Vampire zombies.
Red, it is now your turn. You recognize that voice. What would you like to do?
Sorry, so I'm a bit foggy from last session. I stepped outside, right?
Yeah, you're currently outside because you just wanted some kind of breather.
Right, and then the arrow.
The arrow flew by.
Me.
That catcher becomes the rat. And the voice that, you just find so familiar. You know it well.
Is it a female or male voice?
Female voice, yeah.
Hmm?
Yes, a female voice.
Red would turn in the general direction. I feel like her back was facing where the direction of the arrow came, and she would slowly turn in the general direction of where she felt the arrow. She would just stand there facing the direction of.
And in front of Red, something that she's not able to see, but standing in front of Red is a tall, slim-figured, red-skinned tiefling. Horns protruding out the top of her head, curling backwards, not ram style, but just straight back. She has long, ash black hair tied back in a loose ponytail. Her armor is also a stark black with yellow highlights. Her wrists and arms are wrapped in what looks to be a red cloth. Same red cloth that Red wears around her face. She wields a wicked axe made of black ebony, similar of make to Red's katana. Her hands end in long, wicked claws. They're not natural, not normal for tieflings to have. And feature a branding that is similar to Red's. Now, what, Megan, does this brand look like that Red and this person share?
So this branding would be located on the left side of the chest, like almost over the collarbone. And it would be flame with a sword, almost like a, so it would be like almost like a sunset with the outside as flame, and a sword is piercing through the sun semicircle type look, and it's black. It would be black against Red's still white skin.
And in the same fashion, it is black against this figure's red skin. In her other hand, the hand not wielding this axe, an iron chain link that as you follow it, it leads to be a leash around some creature's neck. A creature that barely has a form. Its hindquarters trail off into wisps of smoke. Its torso barely coherent. Just this black, shadowy figure, hooded with eyes that are just pinpricks of white light. It has various ornamentations on its body. Black leather, pieces of armor, hands ending in long nails. This creature is what's known as a hunter. And they are tasked with finding anyone. They can be tasked to find anyone based on their blood alone. And so, Red, you stand here alone against a former companion and a hunter. What would you like to do?
She would stand there and without flinching, without showing any sign, she knows what a hunter can do. She knows what this person can do. But she stands there unflinching, not even a drop of sweat beads from her body, and she just says quite calmly, I didn't know you needed an aide to finish jobs.
Well, if you didn't run off, we wouldn't need you. Or we wouldn't need one to find you. Tell me, Red. Sorry, not Red. Tell me, Ratcatcher. Where have you been all this time?
I have never been far from sight. I find it very difficult to believe that you, of all people, could not find me. If you wanted to.
Well, it's protocol these days. We have an errant Ratcatcher.
Ah, yes, because you're all about protocol now, aren't you?
I mean, well, what happened last time? We definitely hardened up, didn't we? Of course, I guess you wouldn't know. You weren't there. It's not the same without you.
Of course it isn't.
So you know exactly what's going on here.
Redwood nod nonchalantly.
I don't want to have to let go of this leash.
Then don't. It's as simple as that. The decision ultimately is up to you.
No, it's not up to me. I came here with one task. Bring it back, alive or dead.
And she would just smile and say again, the decision in the end is up to you.
She lets go of the leash.
And Red would say, I guess that's how it's going to be.
And you hear, the iron chain link dunk, dunk, skid across the ground as this formless, wispy, shadowy figure just immediately fly towards you.
I would like to... I feel like during this conversation, my hand would just slowly be going towards the katana on my back. Just slowly traveling up, and as soon as the leash is dropped, I'm going to take it out and try to swing it at the beast as it lunges at me.
Yeah, and so I screen shared a little bit earlier what it kind of looked like. I don't know if you caught it.
I didn't see it, no.
Something like this. Basically, kind of like a cross between this and like a Dementor from Harry Potter. That's what I imagine it being like.
Okay.
Yeah, and like with this iron link chain that around its neck, like this collar. Now that it's loose. And
okay,
so
then can I change my attack because I thought it looked different?
Sure, go. Yeah.
Okay, instead of her katana, she would get a hold of her whip that she has, and she would whip it at this thing's neck in an attempt to bring it down before it had a chance to grasp at her.
Yeah, go for it. Give me your attack roll then.
Okay. Okay, sorry. I got a 24.
Yeah, that's totally a hit.
Okay, cool. And sorry, for proficiency, you do that in things that you're proficient in, and that includes attack rolls?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. And I got a 6.
For damage?
Yes.
Cool. And so your whip, as it lashes through the air, You're able to strike a blow against the creature's neck. But as the form itself kind of fades in and out, don't get quite a decent hit on the creature. You perhaps strike the chain link itself.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing really happens of it.
Yeah. Okay. And that's my move.
Varhelion, you are struggling to get this bloodsucker off of you.
Well, it's off of me right now. His face is off of me.
Its face is currently off of you. What would you like to do?
Well, did we rest long enough to re-prepare spells? I don't think we did.
If anything, it was just a short rest, I believe. Not even. No, I think you guys just took a short rest.
Yeah.
So no.
It's just. Yeah. So I have nothing left. Well, I guess I can do.
You have cantrips and like melee attacks.
Chill touch. It's what? 1d6. I don't have my spell book. Pick it up. Oh no, I don't want to do chill touch. That would not be good. That would not be good either. Well, I'll just like punch it, I guess, or beat it with a stick.
Yeah, and so you'd give me an attack with a quarterstaff then.
Yeah. 16?
16 is a hit, yes.
7 points of bludgeoning damage. And I yell out, "Get this thing off of me!"
Yeah, you whack it, a nice solid thud. You crack it back. Its head kind of snaps like sideways with a solid thing, and then it just cracks it back. No heed to the damage it's caused. And it's still there. This hunter flies at you, Red. And as it approaches, you can feel your vitality just slipping away. You take 8 points of necrotic damage, and your strength score is reduced by 1 as your strength slowly ebbs away. This creature's face approaches yours. Its pinprick eyes lock in yours, and you're able to see them in your mind's eye. And you can feel your breath being taken away by this creature as it sucks the life out of you. The tiefling continues to stand and just watches. Arxes, it is your turn.
After seeing this, I think I'm gonna try to. Can I try to shove the creature?
Yeah, totally. You can totally do that.
Just an attack roll.
It's an athletics check.
Oh, it's an athletics check. Okay.
Yeah, an athletics contest here between the two parties.
20.
Yeah, you totally are able to shove it. So do you want to like push it or like knock it to the ground?
I'm gonna try to push it back as far as I can, really.
Yeah, so you're able to pull it off of Varhelion pretty handily, especially
So,
after the disorienting blow it took to the face.
So I imagine I kind of just like run up and give it a good like,
Yeah,
just
good
with both
rugby
hands.
tackle. Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of like stand in between Varhelion and the creature, kind of like twisting my blades, ready to like strike again.
Yeah,
Xerxes
awesome.
would just say, "Why don't you leave the pummeling to me, old man?"
Yeah, awesome.
Ready to go.
And so its attention turns to you, this creature of undeath. It just pounces on you with its claws flailing. Where's my d20? Here it is. Both attacks hit you. Both claws. Dealing 6, 9. Doing 17 points of slashing damage to you in total. As it just rakes your flesh, slashing through your piecemeal armor. The blood warms your side as it trickles down. You swear that the creature's eyes seem to widen as the blood flow increases. And it starts to pool on the ground below. Red, it is your turn.
So as I feel this thing sucking the life out of me, I'm brought back to all the times that I've utilized a hunter for our more difficult targets. And I have gotten now a true understanding of the terror that even the strongest and the toughest of soldiers feel when coming face to face and being manipulated by this thing. But feeling her stare on me makes me think this is almost another one of her teachings, lessons from when I was under the rule. So I am going to take out my katana and just try to slice again at this thing's neck, because I know the only way to truly kill it is to cut its head off. So I'm going to make an attack.
Yeah.
So I got a 20.
A 20 is a hit.
Okay. I'm also going to use one of my key points to try and do 2 unarmed attacks right after. I think probably one I would slice and then try to backhand it, and then probably there's a kick in there somewhere. So for the katana, that's 9 points of damage.
Okay.
And then for the unarmed, I got a 21
Yeah.
on one and a 12 on the other.
Both of them hit.
Both of them hit. Okay. So the first one does 8. So that's max damage.
Yeah.
And then the other one does 7.
Nice.
And then I'm going to use another key point to ready a dodge action as a bonus.
Isn't your flurry also already your bonus action?
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, it is. Never mind.
Flurry's a bonus,
Just kidding.
yeah.
Just
You can't
kidding.
do everything in a turn.
Yes, I can.
I want to do all the things.
I have the points. No. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Forgot how to play D&D for a second. Yeah. That's it.
Awesome. Varhelion, you are safely behind the mountain of meat known as Xerxes.
Can I roll a... What would that be? Would it be nature or arcana to determine whether I think this thing is what I think it is?
I definitely go on the arcana side of things, as it is a matter of the supernatural versus the natural.
22?
Yeah, so you can go ahead and tell me what this thing is.
Is it a vampire spawn? Or a reskinned? Like, it's a bloodghast, is what I think the Ash Elves would call it. But it's a being that subsists on the blood of other creatures.
Yeah, absolutely, this is what it is.
It tries to... Mostly it tries to target things while they're asleep.
One thing you do know about these bloodghasts is, well, bloodghasts normally need to have some kind of creator.
Yeah.
Some progenitor.
Yeah, like a true vampiric creature can...
Yeah.
Or certain types
bloodghasts,
types of blood-related demons.
Yeah, and bloodghasts arise when the thirst for water becomes so great. Similar to how ghouls, when their hunger becomes so great, they'll resort to cannibalism and become a ghoul. These bloodghasts become the same way when they become so thirsty that they'll drain other creatures' bloods to quench their thirst.
Mm-hmm. That they die in return with a thirst for blood.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I am going to say, follow me. And I pat Xerxes on the shoulder and I say, we can get you some help. And then I rummage in my pocket. And I pull out a bunch of bones and kind of drop them to the ground, and they kind of animate with the ghostly image of a cat around them. And I start hoofing it out of this cave, because I'm going to come back in here, but I'm going to go open the door and make sure that this place is full of friggin' light. Because I know bloodghasts are typically nocturnal creatures and vulnerable to direct daylight, because even the sun won't look upon those who are so accursed to drink their own companion's blood to avoid the thirst.
And as you hoof it out of this cave, you're met with a sight you were not expecting. You see Red, bent over almost backwards, this creature of shadow, almost embracing her and sucking something out of her. You see, again, the tiefling standing, just watching from a few dozen yards away.
Well, I extend my hand. Do I still have a standard action? Or would I have to move twice to get out of the cave?
No, you can only move once to get out of the cage. Yeah, you can do your action.
Okay, I'm gonna try and a skeletal hand. I extend my hand, mutter something in the ancient tongue of elves and the dead, and a skeletal hand kind of appears next to this tiefling creature and caresses it lightly on the face. And I'm doing chill touch.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay. What do I add my proficiency bonus?
Yep. Okay. Plus your spell attack, yeah. Plus your intelligence, because it's an intelligence attack.
Okay, so 20?
Yeah, 20 is a hit.
498 points. Plus. No. Yeah, so 7 points of necrotic damage to the tiefling. And it can't regain hit points until the start of my next turn. And the skeletal hand kind of grips the shoulder of the tiefling after it caresses its face.
And so this tiefling, this female tiefling, shudders and almost shivers, but is able to shrug it off with ease. Her attention turns from Red being attacked by this shade-like creature and turns to you, Varhelion. She extends a finger, and from it erupts a great ball of fire heading your way. I'd like you to make a dex save, please.
Wait.
This is her reaction to her being attacked.
That is... What's my dex? 22?
Yeah, so you take only 4 points of fire damage.
As I kind of dodge out of the way.
As you're able to shield yourself in some fashion from this blast of flame.
Okay.
The hunter continues to suck the life energy out of you, Red. Doing another 10 points of necrotic damage to you and lowering your strength score by 1. You can feel your life just draining away. This tiefling swings her axe in a wide arc, and from it launches this spray of some kind of black, foul ichor at you, Varhelion. Hitting you and dealing you 9 points of damage.
Ugh.
As it just pellets you, as this foul spray kind of solidifies upon impact, kind of just pelleting you.
Oh, I have 1 second.
As if you were just,
spell.
as if you're just hit by a bunch of rocks.
Yeah.
Urxes, you stand alone against this bloodghast. Its face smeared with the blood of Varhelion the Ash Elf. You've shoved it successfully out of the way and let the wizard escape. What would you like to do?
I'd probably how far into the cave did this blast go? It would have been noticeable, right? But
From the tiefling?
the fireball or whatever that was.
So Varhelion was out of the cave when this
he was
happened.
okay. So I probably would be unaware of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
To the most part, you're probably too focused
On this battle. Okay.
on this bloodghast. Yeah.
Okay. Then probably after taking that last hit from the creature, Urxes would just lunge into attack, wanting to strike back at the creature. He's going to step forward and first make like an underhand swing with his blade up at the creature, trying to go cut along its body.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 21
That's a hit. Yeah.
for 9 points of slashing damage.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then continuing to move forward, Urxes would come down with his other blade and make an overhand swing down from the top of the creature for 23 to hit
Yeah, that's also a hit.
for 5 points of slashing damage. Then after realizing kind of how hard this creature can hit and that it's quite the formidable foe, Urxes would start to kind of like pace in a circle facing the creature, just having some movement ready to dodge any attacks. And I'm going to spend a superiority die to boost my AC by 6 until I stop moving.
So what is your current AC now?
17. So it's now 23.
23. Okay.
Can
For
I
the round.
can I shout down the cave when I notice that Urxes doesn't come out like pretty quick after me?
Yeah. Sure.
I say, bring it into the light.
And coincidentally, when you have stepped out of the way, you actually let the light from the cave entrance shine on this creature, kind of stepping aside so your shadow no longer casts on it.
Mhm.
And the light just sears its flesh in the wounds that you had created with your sword swipes. Just kind of like boil and almost fester before your eyes.
I think in combination of observing this, Farhelian's words, Xerxes would kind of mention, "Oh, would you look at that?" And then kind of say something like, "Follow me, beastie," and just turn and like book it towards the light in the outside of the cave.
Yeah, and as you emerge out of the cave, you again see the same sight that Varhelion does, and Red does, with the ephemeral, just black, wispy creature sucking the life out of Red. She's almost collapsed on the ground now, taking a knee here, and there is this tiefling with just an axe in hand and some kind of strange magic in the other hand, with these large claws, just slowly advancing towards Varhelion the elf.
Upon seeing this, well, how far am I away from Red? And
Like 10 feet away from
by
Red.
movement. Okay. And this like creature's like on top of her, right? And
Yeah, it's almost in this, just like buckling her over as it just, drains her of vitality.
I'm gonna, as I see this, I'm gonna use my action surge then, and I'm gonna try to like throw my hand axe at this creature to get it off Red, essentially.
All right, hope you don't miss and hit her instead.
Yeah, me too.
Yep, me too.
Okay, good. 20.
Yeah, 20 is a hit.
And this hand axe is 1d6. Oof. Okay, for 3 points of damage.
Yeah, awesome. As you throw this hand axe, your eyes, you catch the sight of all these petrified trees bordering this canyon little alcove. You see that they're full of these black scarbirds. And they're watching this duel eagerly. They're waiting for the dust to settle and for them to have a feast.
Mm.
The bloodghast crawls out of the light of the sun, hiding in some corner, hidden in shadow. And out of sight. Red, it is your turn. You feel the companionship of your nearby newfound companions, the tall, meaty Xerxes, and the wise and incredibly smart Varhelion. What do you like to do?
I'm going to, as I'm kind of knelt down, I feel like the katana is at my feet where my hands were, and I would just take out my hand axes and just kind of say, "No, you're mine," and hit the thing with my hand axe. Can I make 2 attacks?
Yes, you can make 2 attacks if you're dual wielding hand axes, yeah.
Yeah. That is what I'll do.
However, the second hand axe does not
Is
get
that
your,
kind of...
the second hand axe does not get your dexterity bonus to the damage if you're doing that.
Actually going to only do with the one, and then use my bonus action for my second wind.
Okay, cool.
So I'll just make the attack on the 22.
22 is a hit.
Okay. And that does 10 damage.
Awesome. You strike a solid blow at the creature. You're able to get back up on your feet. You steel yourself with your second wind. You have
sorry,
a surge of vitality. Sorry, go ahead.
With my second wind, do I need to roll it twice as well, or is that just with the hit dice?
That's just with hit dice that you do that.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you strike a solid blow, sending the creature back as it screams and hisses. But then it kind of gathers its form and coalesces again in front of you, a little farther back.
Mm-hmm.
Varhelion, what do you like to do?
I'm gonna toll the dead on the tiefling.
Yeah, awesome. Can you describe this? What this appears like to the companions?
I kind of reach into my robe and pull out a little bell on a thong around my neck, and I just ring it lightly and whisper a word that no one can hear, but then a loud sonorous bell, almost like well, none of my companions would know, but like the church bells of old Ostland, and it tolls loudly like a funeral bell, and the tiefling is like racked with pain and takes, well, let's see if I hit. Does a 19 beat her AC?
It does, yeah.
And takes 1d12. 10 points of necrotic damage.
Yeah, and she definitely is racked with pain. She takes a knee as just her head is filled with this loud screaming of this bell. Her muscles ache. She kind of grunts and then stands back up. Would you like to do anything else? The kind of movement or anything?
I think I'll try and kind of move behind one of the petrified trees just to put a little bit of something between myself and the tiefling.
Yeah, and you definitely hear the jostling of the scarbirds up ahead or up above as they kind of shimmy in position. They stare at you. They stare at your weakened state, wondering if you're here to drop and die and give them a food. This hunter, Red, it again goes at you to try and suck more vitality out of you. But it's weaker now. It tries to breathe in some of your life, but can't. Of what a hunter's true purpose is. They go in. They can follow anyone based on their blood signature. If they get fed a little bit of it, they can find its quarry. Who knows where? And they find their quarry, and they get them to submit by draining all of their strength from them so they cannot move. And that is what you are right now, Red. You're just a quarry, just a rat to be caught. The tiefling still looks at you, Varhelion, knows that you kind of hid behind cover, and again approaches you one step after another, weakened, her muscles somewhat spasming still from the spell you cast on her. And again she swings her axe in a wide arc, her other hand glowing in a purplish energy, sending more of these pellets of pure force flying at you. You have cover, however, from the tree you hid behind, and you're able to use this cover to deflect most. You suffer no damage. Xerxes. What would you like to do?
So where is this like tiefling and the hunter in kind of relation to me? The hunter and red are
The hunter
probably
is just
still
like
closest to me.
yeah, the hunter and red are like really up close with you. You could probably get they're probably in melee with you. And this tiefling, however, is probably about 20, 30 feet away from you
Okay,
at this
I see.
point. And the distance between Varhelion and this tiefling is closing fast. Like they're probably about 10 feet away right now.
Right. Okay. The creature isn't on red anymore.
No, she was able
Able to get up.
it's not it doesn't have a nice anchor on her yet.
Mhm.
She was able to resist the anchoring.
Okay. Seeing this huge tiefling thing closing in on Varhelion, I'm probably gonna go and charge at it. I'm just gonna run at the thing and just take a good swing at it. I'm trying to like draw its attention to me, more or less. First swing is a 13.
A 13 is a miss.
And then I'll probably come back around with my other hand and try to do another kind of longitudinal swing at it for 17.
17 is a hit.
And that one hits for 6 points of slashing.
She parries your first slash with her ebony axe. Sparks flying as these two finely crafted weapons strike against each other. But in her parry, she is open to counterattack, and you go in for a quicker slice with your offhand, slicing at her for the 6 damage. She reels back, clutching at this wound. She kind of mutters, "Who are these companions I've got, Ratcatcher? Never thought you'd be one to have friends." And Red, it is your turn.
I don't think Red would even hear her comment. She is just so focused on this hunter and dispatching it. And so she would again take out take one of her hand axes and throw it at the hunter. I got a 12.
A 12 is a hit.
Okay.
Yeah, this creature is big and kind of hard to miss.
Yeah. I do
And very close
5.
to at this point. 5 slashing.
I'll be just a minute.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, that's fine. Your hand axe flies through it, Megan. Still doing damage to its form. And we have a funky old man just playing D&D with us. The hand axe hits the bark, the petrified bark of one of the trees off in the distance, sending the scarbirds in it kind of scattering.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you'd like to do?
Yeah, I'm going to spend a key point as a bonus action to just lunge at this thing and essentially try to rip its head off using my unarmed attack.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, that didn't hit, and neither did that, so I did not. I lunged in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
Twice.
the creature's movement is silent as it kind of dissipated from the hand axe toss and reformed a little bit too far over in one direction.
Yeah, I think because it's floating, I'm having a real hard time pinpointing it. So, yeah.
Is Ryan back?
Hello. Yeah, I am.
Because it is Varhelion's turn.
Yeah, I know.
as he cowers behind one of the trees.
Yeah, that's just been
As this
splatted
tiefling-
with acid.
As the tiefling approaches him.
Does a hunter use like its sight?
No.
Okay.
Hunter is not a sight-based creature, no.
So I can't use blindness, deafness on it. Is the tiefling still standing?
Barely. They're kind of in a duel now, the tiefling and Urxes. But yeah, she's still conscious and aware, but severely injured at this point.
Okay. Well. Well, I'm just gonna toll the dead on her.
You send more spasm through her. What's your attack roll?
17?
Yeah, 17 is a hit.
Okay. And 9 points of necrotic damage.
And so,
As another, like,
yeah,
I ring the little silent bell on my neck thong.
and so
again.
what happens to this tiefling then, as you mechanically defeat her?
She just kind of, she covers her ears and just falls to the ground in a fetal position, and takes her, like, just covers her ears with her hands in the fetal position, and is just racked with spasms until, like, a little just a little trickle of blood runs down her mouth and she stops moving.
Awesome. This hunter, it still had its task. It's still been fed the blood of Red, the blood that she had to give up so long ago as part of her servitude. It still bears down on her. Less coherent, but still is able to find its mark. It anchors itself to you, Red, dealing you 8 points of necrotic damage and lowering your strength score by 2 points.
Okay, I'd like to do a reaction.
Yep.
I imagine that.
Oh, GG.
Okay. I imagine that instead of like this life force coming out, it all of a sudden turns into fire. And this hunter is absorbing fire that Red has conjured up.
Yeah, awesome.
And
So
you have to make a dex save.
it got a total of 10 on its dex save.
Okay. So it passed.
So it only takes half damage, right?
Yeah, and that's okay. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. So it takes 11.
Yeah, so as it drains life from you, it also sucks out this hellish fire you're able to conjure as kind of a first barrier. As it sucked past it get blasted with this fire, but continues to suck more energy from you. It almost unwavered by this flame.
Okay.
Its form is barely there at this time, however. You can see the patchwork, it's like the patches of light coming through it now. It's splotchy, it's half there, half not.
Mm-hmm.
That was not your turn, that was its turn. Because you did so much. And Urxes. The tiefling lies slumped in the fetal position, blood trickling from her mouth. She appears to be dead. There's still this hunter bearing down on Red. She looks very weak at this point. Barely able to stand. What do you like to do?
Satisfied that this thing looks pretty beaten, I think Xerxes would then turn his attention to this hunter that's encroaching upon Red, and just like quickly try to like get to it before it sucks any more of this life force out of her. And with his blade in his hand, I'm gonna like run up to it, just try to like stick it like kind of up right by where its chain would be, figuring that it's probably materialized most around there, hopefully.
Yeah, it definitely is. So yeah, give me an attack roll then.
23.
23 is a hit.
For 6 points of slashing damage.
You can describe to me how this hunter dies, is defeated.
So as Xerxes basically runs towards it, it kind of gets low to have a good like kind of raise as it stick as he like thrusts his sword up into it. I kind of imagine I like thrust my sword into its blade, catching a bit of this materialistic bit of it, and Xerxes rises up, kind of brings the hunter off the ground along with it, and like kind of tosses his blade up, grabs it the other way, and slams his sword and the creature down into the ground, kind of pinning it.
And you impale, you impale this collar into the ground, and as you do so, you shatter the form and able to release it. And as you do so, it dissipates. And also it's the like explosion-like gust that billows your clothes and kind of goes outwards. It sends the scarbirds scattering and flying. You kind of have to brace yourself in the dust that it spills up. And it's at this point we're going to take a short break. Probably about 5 minutes here for bathroom and stuff.
Okay. Go get a drink.
Too. Okay, dokie.
So how's everyone's day?
Pretty chill.
Was it as chill as this intro?
Too much chilled, bro.
Is this
Too
the
much
old one, Puck? Is this the old one? You remember the one in Mom's car?
No,
Where's that one?
it's still in the car.
I think it might be bad now. If it gets too warm, it goes bad.
Yeah.
I got 1.5 million bug bites on my ankles, and my legs are so itchy.
Just from being in the parks all day.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah. Haven't been too many mosquitoes here, luckily, but they're coming. I bet.
Oh my, yeah, they're everywhere here. They're so bad this year.
They're the worst. It's like the most annoying thing.
Yeah.
Hate mosquito bites.
So Ryan, I sent you a link to your like your spellbook and stuff on Facebook.
Cool. I have not checked my Facebook anyway.
Yeah, because I know how you're like, oh, I don't know where my spellbook is. I'm like, okay, I found it for you, and I sent it to you.
Should bookmark this. Bookmark this.
Probably should. It's a good idea.
Other bookmarks. Google Drive. Arhelian spellbook.
Since I put all that effort in copying and pasting the spell descriptions, it made it look nice
I
too.
just realized. Wait, so if I find a spell book,
Yeah,
I can copy out other cantrips?
you can copy out. Yeah,
Just have to spend gold and some time.
yeah.
I
You
think, to
spend
do
50. Yeah, 2 hours and 50 GP to add any spell to your spellbook.
Okay, cool. Because I need, if I think about it at the Rubble Moot and I can meet like a trainee Ash Elf wizard, I'm gonna be like, teach me a fire spell. Because like, I only have necrotic damage, and I was like, man, that bloodghast is not going to take a lot of damage if I chill touch it.
Yeah. Speaking of Bloodghast, who's gonna go into the cave again first?
I was just about to
Well,
say.
I think that should. And I think what you do is you take your sword and you reflect some of the sunlight in its face until it dies.
That would be smart. Are you going to suggest that to my character? Because Xerxes would not think of that.
Well, that was more credit than I really thought you were due, but I'll give you some for targeting the solid area of that hunter. But yeah, someone should deal with the bloodghast, and I'm about to start coughing up blood. So
Red, at this point, as soon as the hunter disappeared, would run over to the tiefling and try to revive her. If, like, I don't even know if that's, I don't think that's possible, but Red doesn't know that, so.
Yeah, and so as you go to her, you know, you try and stabilize her, for example. Yeah, give me your medicine check.
Okay.
To try and apply any kind of first aid you have knowledge of.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry. Moment. 17.
All right, Megan, is she alive or dead?
I don't know.
For sure.
Am I gonna like fuck up your story if I'm like, oh, she just jumps back up and
No, but she'd still be unconscious and having just had like a seizure and
yeah, no, I would think that Red would know quite a bit of how to get tieflings, back on their feet, seemingly from the dead.
Just fix them up, just like
just-
a tiefling
just-
repair shop.
Yeah, but she had to deal with that a lot, since she was kind of the doing grunt work thing. She would be charged with kind of cleaning up the mess of that the armies left behind, trying to revive as many tieflings as she could. These were some of her jobs, and so she would hear probably the ragged breaths of this tiefling and just kind of sit back and at a reasonable distance, and just cross her legs in meditation, waiting for the tiefling to wake up.
And so the tiefling is alive. All right. What is it there? Sorry, go ahead.
Probably at the mention of the blood fiend or whatever it was at the cave, I think Xerxes would kind of just like, fine, I'll do it, and then turn towards it.
I put up a hand just before you go into the cave, and I rummage around in my pouch, and I pull out like a fist-sized mirror, and I hand it to you without saying anything.
What the hell is this for?
Focus the sunlight on its face. Thought it goes without saying.
Oh, I see. I was just gonna stab it, but I guess that works. And can I see if I look into the cave? Can I see maybe where this thing is hiding?
Yeah, you can definitely try to kind of scan inside a bit.
Can I do a check,
Yeah, investigation.
14.
You're not able to find it.
Okay.
There are too many long shadows cast in this cave to be able to see clearly.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna kind of slowly stroll up, just surveying the cave, and I'm gonna come right to the edge where the kind of light ends.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna step into it and just start clanking my swords together, trying to make noise, draw this thing out.
Yeah, I'd like you.
Come here, fiendy.
And I guess everyone to give me initiative, please. A new initiative.
15. No, I'll do.
Connor's like, damn, I just wanted this fight to be over. 1 second, sorry.
It's okay. Not like we're waiting for you or anything.
You know what? Okay.
Sweet. All right.
There we go.
Varhelion, you notice it first. As you watch Xerxes descend into the cave, the last bit of light shining on his back, you see a figure drop down from above, landing on his shoulders and neck area. This bloodghast was hanging from above and pounced on him from atop.
Okay, well, I'm gonna rummage around. Well, quickly. I pull out a little dagger. It's kind of shiny. But I'm also going to extend my hand and utter the elvish word for weakness.
and cast Ray of Enfeeblement on it.
Yeah, awesome.
And so this ray of kind of sickly green energy.
Oh, Black Beam. It says in the spell description of enervating energy. It kind of makes your skin crawl, Xerxes, as it hits, well, hopefully hits the creature and not you. 18?
18 is definitely a hit, yes.
And on a hit, the target deals only half damage with weapon attacks that use strength until the spell ends.
Awesome. When does the spell end?
Concentration up to a minute.
Awesome. Yeah, okay, for the next... Cool. Awesome.
10 rounds.
All right. Xerxes, this bloodghast has just dropped onto your shoulders from above. It caught you by surprise, but you're swift. You're, able to act pretty quickly here. What would you like to do? Also, you should
It's
probably
still
unmute
on me
yourself.
though, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it's right on top of you. Just like it's like tearing at your armor now to try and expose your flesh.
In that case, I'm probably just gonna try to grab it by the neck and just throw it down off me.
Yeah, awesome.
It's probably
Athletics.
small enough to try that.
We'll do an opposed athletics check here too. I got
15.
a 13. Yeah, so with your 15, you're able to grab it and throw it down right into the spotlight of the sun in the entryway. Its flesh sizzles and hisses and almost smokes and smolders. It smells like burning hair and rotting flesh and nastiness. And it tries to clamber back onto its feet. It then skittles off into the shadows again. And almost sorry, go ahead.
Seeing where it went this time, I'm gonna take the mirror that Varhelion gave to me and try to angle, just basically follow this thing with the beam of sunlight and trying to hit it, essentially reflected in a way that it gets struck by this beam of light.
Yeah, give me a dexterity check to be able to aim this pinprick of light.
Okay, nat 1.
Yeah, so you're fumbling to actually find a good angle here to reflect the light off of it, and you're unable to do so. And this bloodghast scurries off into the shadow, its flesh sizzling and smelling. And give me a perception check there, Xerxes, and I guess to an extent Varhelion as well.
4 for me.
18.
The bloodghast disappears out of sight in some shadow behind some objects as it scurries. Its movements are silent, and it's able to find some kind of darkness to hide behind. And Red, it is your turn.
I'm just sitting there.
Just meditating.
By the resting tiefling, waiting. I do hear some scuffling. And I would actually call out, you guys all right in there?
And so, Megan, do you want to be taken out of this initiative order, unless something affects you? Just to ease.
Yeah, depending on their answer, yes.
Should be all right. Just have to kill a friggin' bloodsucker.
Okay, cool. And yeah.
So feel free, Megan, to jump in at any time you feel is a cool moment or time that you want to. Otherwise, we'll just go through initiative and ignore you, essentially.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So then, Varhelion, this creature has disappeared out of sight. It's gone behind, out of sight, because you're still outside this cave. What would you like to do?
Well, I guess I'll wander in there and kind of ease my way down there, helping my way with my staff.
Because I'm pretty battered. from acid splashes and other horrible things. But I get down there, and then I flick my hands and make a light on the end of my staff and kind of wave it around.
Like what color is this light? What color? Is this light? Yeah.
I think kind of just a dull orange.
Yeah, so this dull orange light, almost akin to like a small like candle flame.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of just wave it about like you would a torch just to light up the area. And you see it, spider crawl style, up against a wall that was obscured in shadow, but it's illuminated in this dull orange glow by the staff. You can see it staring at you with these dilated pupils. Its fangs fully extended.
Gross.
A little bit of blood dripping from its mouth, and it just stands there ready to pounce, or kind of. I guess it's like literally up against the wall, climbing like a spider would. Would you
like Spider-Man would?
Like Spider-Man would, yes, Spider-Man style.
Gross. Okay. Well, I kind of reach into my pocket and pull out like just a chunk of metal. I have one of those. Oh, wait, I have that necklace.
Yeah.
The magical one. I pull that out. I mean, I know it's rusty as shit, but I'm still standing vaguely towards the light, and I kind of stick my hand into the light and then angle it towards the vampire.
Yeah, okay. Just like with Xerxes, give me a dexterity check then to be able to
I'm a very old
manipulate. Yeah.
16?
At 16, you're able to do so. You're able to shine a very small light. Like a laser pointer style, you cause a little tss burning of the flesh on this creature, and it kind of recoils when you do so. And kind of scuttles, half a foot over to one side to get out of the way. And you're able to kind of slowly follow it.
I don't have any kind of, like, commanding the undead, do I?
Not at this low level, no.
No. Man.
You've lost your touch for Helium.
Yeah. I'm real old.
Xerxes. Varhelion has revealed the position of this elusive bloodghast. You see it kind of scrambling, Spider-Man style, up the one side of the cave wall. It's not too far from you. It looked like it was trying to get another drop on you from above.
Sword through the heart and cut off its head.
That Xerxes would mutter, "I can do that," and pass you the mirror. You take this. And how high is this cave?
It's about 10 feet at its highest. It's very, very small. It's
okay. I can see where this thing is, though, right?
Yeah, clear as day, illuminated by the dull orange of Varhelion's staff.
After handing this mirror back to Varhelion, I'm gonna try to just run into the cave where this thing is and kind of take a leap and using the wall to try and propel myself upwards a bit and just try to reach and stick it at the heart.
Yeah, awesome. Give me an attack roll then.
21.
21 is a hit.
For 11 points of slashing damage.
Yeah, and you just pierce it, but its flesh is unnaturally hardened by the desiccation of the sand that it was once entombed in. It does not, slice and bleed like normal skin would. If anything, it cracks like paper, like dried paper.
I'd assume I'd probably fall back to the ground, looking up at it. Is it still on the ceiling?
It's not on the ceiling, no, but it's still kind of on the wall, not quite up on the top yet. So about
Okay, that didn't knock it off.
5 feet off the ground. No,
okay.
No, not at all. It's
okay.
It's got a strong grip.
Then I'm just gonna take another kind of lunge up at it with my offhand. Try to stick it again.
Awesome. Go for it.
Get down there. 5. No.
5 does not hit.
5.
Yeah, so you're a little bit off balance. The clutter in this cave is also hard to maneuver in. Maybe you trip over a chair I guess, a small stool that Basha once made himself.
Mhm.
The vampire, sorry, the bloodghast, not the vampire. The bloodghast retaliates, just propelling itself from the wall and trying to just push you down, Xerxes. We're going to make an athletics contest here as it shoves you to the ground. It got a total of 19.
Ooh, 10.
Yeah, so you're knocked prone as it just pushes you against, your head kind of cracks against the hardened earth. And it just bears down on you and tries to sink its teeth right into an exposed part somewhere on your body. Hitting you. Ooh. Let's see, doing 9 points of piercing damage and 1 point of necrotic damage. As well, your hit point maximum reduces by 1.
Is that just for this combat, or like?
Until you take a long rest. The hit point max is permanently reduced by 1. Also, similarly, Red, your strength decrease lasts until you finish a long rest. So like you're like very, very fatigued. The pinprick light that Varhelion has been able to follow it with and trace it with is keeping its wounds from knitting over. Varhelion, what would you like to do? You're also muted. Can't hear a word of what you're saying.
Shit. I always turn off my microphone, but now I figured out how to turn it back on. Yeah, so I now have, I kind of not keep my staff in the crook of my arm, and with my 2 hands, like now having a shiny object in both of them, I try and catch a bunch of light and wiggle it towards the vampire again. Because I figure I have nothing else that can damage this thing.
Yeah, give me another dexterity check just to keep it on, keep the lights on this moving form now as it's pounced on top of Xerxes.
19.
Yeah, so you're able to keep this light. They're very small, but you know, the effect of sunlight on blood gases, you know, stops them, damages them essentially.
Yeah. Just even if it's just a little bit, it's more than like tolling the dead on it would do. Resistance halves everything, right?
Yes, resistance has.
Undead have necrotic resistance.
Or immunity, depending on the creature, yeah.
Gross.
Xerxes, you're prone, you're on your back. The creature is ripping at your chest armor and has sunk its deep fangs into your shoulder. It's drawn a bit of blood from you as and you can feel your vitality draining as it does so.
If you kill this thing, I'll heal you right up.
I'm working on that. And then I think I would kind of like take my sword and just try to like just stab it into this creature that's on top of me, probably towards its like neck area. Trying to damage it, so hopefully it loosens its grip on me. 16.
Yeah, 16 is a hit.
For 11 points of damage.
You slash at it with a sword. You kind of reel it back. It still has its form on top of yours, but you kind of send it flying a little bit. This big slash mark appearing on its face, its neck kind of twisting in that disgusting contorted way. What else do you do?
Taking this little bit of breathing room, I kind of sit up a bit and then I take my other hand and jam it like upwards at the creature, following through with my first attack. For 23 to hit.
Yeah, that's totally a hit.
For 9 points of damage.
Yeah, and at this point, you've been able to send it completely off of you now. As it kind of lies on its side as you've battered it off of you.
Okay, and then after I get it off of me, I'm bleeding quite a lot at this point. This thing slashed at me a lot over the past little bit. I'm gonna kind of like slowly back up, like kind of weaving a bit, trying to like lure it towards the beam of lights that Varhilian's casting on it. And doing so, I'm gonna spend a superiority die again to boost my AC by 3.
So you're at 20.
20. Yeah.
Cool. The bloodghast. It's kind of crouched. It's able to get, on all fours. It brings a hand up, covered in your blood, and just licks it like a cat would, licking at its claws, sucking it up. And it kind of scurries back and forth, trying to find a good vantage to get at you. But then it's kind of caught its attention is the elf in the distance, blasting it with his sunlight that hurts it so. Oh, does it hurt this creature? And it's gonna like cat pounce style, just charge at him and try and knock him down. Varhelion. This will actually provoke an attack of opportunity from you, Xerxes. But Varhelion and I will have to make athletics checks.
I'm gonna die.
Do you want my attack roll now, or?
Yeah, you can give me an attack roll now.
Yeah, I got 16.
16's a hit. Yeah, you're looking for AC 15 for this creature.
Okay. And I hit it for 9 points.
Yeah, cool. All right, so Varhelion, what did your athletics get?
17.
Well, it got a 21.
Yep.
Yeah, so you are knocked prone. And again, as this creature just savages you with its claws,
I'm gonna die.
Slashes at you and sinks its teeth into you, dealing you
Half damage.
Oh, that's right. It is weak. That's right. So it does 3 points of piercing damage and 3 points of necrotic.
I'm unconscious.
And your hit point total is decreased by 3 until you take a long rest.
Yep.
Your max is down by 3.
It
Doesn't deal half damage anymore because I'm knocked out.
That's right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And as it just sinks down, it pushes you down. It claws open a portion of your armor and just sinks its teeth in and just gulp, 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 and Varhelion is unconscious.
Yeah.
But it's in the light right now.
It is in the light, yes. Varhelion, I'd like you to make me a death saving throw, please.
It's just
10 or above, right?
Just a straight D20, yeah, 10 or above.
11.
All right, that is one success. 3 successes and you're back up with 1 hit point. 3 fails and you're dead.
Yep.
DED dead.
DED. Xerxes. Varhelion is now unconscious. His blood being drained by this bloodghast. What do you do?
Kill it.
Yeah. Noticing that it's pretty close to the light, if not almost in it at this point, I'm literally gonna try to like run at it, and I'm gonna try to like kick this thing, like just bunt it like further into the light, trying to get it all the way into the, so it's basking in the full sunlight.
Yeah, awesome. Give me an athletics check just to shove it.
Oh, no. 4.
Yeah, so you're not able to, as it's just firmly attached to Varhelion. You shove it and Varhelion like an inch into the sun a little bit more, but it's steadfast. It's latched onto Varhelion at this point, unable to move.
Is it fully in the sun at this point?
It's totally fully in the sun, yeah, and just smoke is just rising off of its body. Holes are being burnt through its clothing, through the what remains of its clothing, as the sunlight just melts this creature's skin.
In that case, I'm literally just gonna try to like grab it and just like stab, come down at it, trying to just finish this thing off, stop it from sinking into Varhelion. 10.
10 is a miss.
No, that's another miss.
Yeah, all right. Again, like you're a little bit weaker at this point. The blood bite was not, you weren't expecting it. You can kind of feel your muscles being a little more limp than they normally are. You feel a little bit of fear as well. Something that's a very alien emotion to you.
Mhm.
You feel a little bit
Mm.
fearful of this creature, seeing it just knock down a powerful sorcerer.
Probably angry at himself for getting to this weakened state, and even more for calling out like he's about to do. I think Xerxes would look up at Red and just be like, "A little help over here. Get off your ass." Yelling at Red in kind of distress.
The Bloodghast continues to savage at Varhelion, sucking more blood from him. That's an automatic death failure here.
Okay.
And Red, you have been brought into the scenario whether you like it or not. What would you like to do? If you're muted, so I can't hear you.
Okay. I think at this 1 second.
So this Bloodghast is completely in the light right now, continuing to savage at.
Wait, completely in the light where? Like, sorry, in the cave or?
So like, yeah, the cave just right in the entranceway. Varhelion
Okay.
opened up the gap, the grasses earlier to let in all the light.
Yeah, okay, so at this, Red
And
would stand, hear Xerxes yell, request for help, and come in and try to get a hold of the Bloodghast and try and drag it out.
Yeah, so give me an athletics check because I'm trying to shove it out. Trying to beat a 9 here.
Okay. And I do have. So I got a 22.
Yeah, so you're able to pull it off of Varhelion for the moment being, and pull it further into the light outside of the cave here, out into the direct sun.
Yeah, and I just like to attempt to just like restrain it. Like I still want to be holding on to it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so that's a grapple.
Yeah.
So then when it tries to break free, we'll do another athletics check to see if it can break free of the grapple.
Okay.
The creature just wails and screams. Ah! This terrible, unhumanly scream as it's just being lit up at this point by the sunlight. Varhelion, another death saving throw, please.
7.
It's a failure.
I fail once more and I'm dead.
Xerxes. Red had just pulled the Bloodghast. I keep saying the wrong word. Bloodghast out into the sunlight. What do you like to do?
Since I'm like basically standing right over Varhelion, kind of like reeling in my own wounds, I'm gonna try to bring him to, wake him up. Just like, come on, old man, we need your magic. Shaking him, trying to stabilize him in any way that I can.
Yeah, so give me a medicine check, please.
Yes. 19.
So 19 makes him stable, not conscious. Just stops him from having to make death saving throws. So you're at 0 hit points, and you can erase all those failures and stuff.
Thank God.
And then I'd kind of look up at Red and say something like, "Stop wrestling with it. Just stab it already."
And at the point, the Bloodghast continues to wrestle with you, Red, trying to break free. You have to make a opposed athletics check here. You're muted, so.
proficiency. I'm gonna use that. So I got a 17.
Yeah, you're able to keep the creature in your grasp, but you're not able to stop the claws. The claws themselves deal 5 points of slashing damage to you. As your forearms are just completely raked along with your shoulder area and just anywhere it can reach to try and break free.
Yeah.
But it's just smoke is just billowing off of this creature at this point. The smell is just overpowering your senses. It's your turn then, Red.
Yeah, I want to bury a hand axe into its neck. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to do that. Got a 19.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Cool. 7 damage.
Yeah, you can describe to me how you kill this bloodghast.
I think after Xerxes said that, Red would be like, "What do you think I'm trying to do?" And like in her anger, just like chop his head off, like with her hand axe, and just like and then just like hold up this thing's head that I assume is like still smoking / bleeding in the light.
Just this greenish gray goo just kind of like trickles out of where its arteries and veins would be from this dismembered head. Its body still kind of spasms on the ground, hissing and searing in the sunlight.
Well, at least this one won't be coming back. And I
drop kick the head. Yeah.
I'd probably throw it into the fire that the orcs had.
And I think this like wriggling body is still on the ground. Xerxes would draw his hand axe, stagger over it, and just come down on it. Like give it just 2 quick like chops just to make sure it's done.
You continue to impale this creature, just this kind of green slime coating the blade of your weapon now. As you go deeper and deeper into its parchment-like skin, you can hear the sounds of bone cracking as you break through its rib cage. And just continue to and then it stops moving, and you are done. And it's just perforated from neck to abdomen with your sword holes.
I think once Xerxes is fully satisfied that this thing is butchered, he would kind of just like roll over onto his back and just like breathe and take a moment to kind of collect himself, still reeling from his own wounds.
Yeah, Red would limp back over to where the tiefling is maybe still laying.
And the tiefling still is there.
Yeah.
Still shallow breath, unmoving.
As I'm on the ground, can I take my second wind to heal a bit as I'm taking my time? 1, 2, 10.
As you're inspired by this murdering.
A long rest. Because I am out cold.
Yeah,
and
you need
out
some
of smells.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Varhelian's just unconscious. He's like good though, right?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Good.
I just need to like sleep for like a day. And then what is it? Healing in Crifoth is like you heal your level in hit point level plus constitution.
So if you want to heal in Crifoth, you have to spend hit dice to do so. And that's the only way you can heal besides any other like actual magical effect. You don't top up to full automatically when you take a long rest.
No. Yeah, I know.
It's just a way of regaining hit dice. Yeah. So you roll the hit dice plus your con. That's how much you heal.
Okay. Can I spend a bunch?
If you guys take a short rest now, you can spend hit dice.
No, we're going to take a long rest. This seems as good a place as any. Drag my body. I mean, you can't hear any of Varhelian's thoughts, but drag my body into Basha's old hut. Give him whatever counts as a burial for you people, and let's rest. We have a almost dead tiefling who I gave probably pretty bad brain damage. Me, a like 130-year-old elf.
And so, Ryan,
That's-
Varhelion has a horrible scar from this incident.
Oh yeah, probably.
You are disfigured to the extent that the wound can't be easily concealed. You have disadvantage on charisma persuasion checks and advantage on charisma intimidation checks.
Cool. I'm generally not going to be very persuasive, and I'll yell at people.
You can tell me what this scar looks like.
It's a big, because it got me on the neck the first time, right?
Yeah.
And then it clawed more down that wound, so it's just like a big, like right now it's just a big scabby gash, like down into like my chest area, but you can see it like runs almost up to my ear.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Yes,
On
you got
the
advantage
opposite
on
side of the image, so like I guess it's on Varhelian's right side because you can't see that side of his face in the picture.
Still have to photo edit it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you got advantage on intimidation and disadvantage on persuasion. And the only way to remove the scar is from like super high level healing.
Like restoration, like the
Yeah,
spell restoration.
Yeah. I'm using the alternate rules of lingering injuries from the DMG for when a character suffers a critical hit or gets knocked out.
Yeah.
All right. And so what of the fire that still burns outside where the orcs were burning? Do you put it out or do you keep it going?
Y'all should put that shit out.
But there's a head in there. I would wait until the head is
Just fully burned.
Till we know the vampire, the blood-sucking monster is dead.
Yes.
I think after Xerxes kind of regains himself a little bit, he'd slowly stand up and kind of look around and just mutter, "Oh, we're not going anywhere till we heal up." And I'd probably pick up Varhelion and just wander into Master Basha's cave and kind of just like place him somewhere where he's out of the sunlight and he can probably recover for a bit.
Yeah, there's a soft hammock they're able to place him in.
Okay, then I'd probably do that. And I'd...
It's a little short. My feet hang off the end.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah,
that'll
as
do.
You're cradling his neck and his head, at least.
And I put him in the hammock. Then I go to Master Basha's body. Then I would go and pick him up and kind of walk out to where Red is. And
As you do so,
Yeah.
as you pick up this body, you feel his skin kind of peel like parchment in your fingers as well.
Mm.
And you just you carry him out to Red. Red still sits cross-legged, kind of near this.
I'd approach her and I'd say, "Appears you and I shared a master. Basha was a good man. He deserves some type of burial."
and Red, without moving at all, like when you come over and speak, the only movement would be the slight nod of her head, and she would say, "Bury him by the tree."
Very well. I'd wait for Varhelion, but this body is decaying. We should do it now. And I'd walk over to the tree, place him down, and I'd start to try and just make out this grave. I don't really have a shovel or anything on me, so I'd probably take out my hand axe first and just try to like break up the ground a bit. It's a hobbit, so I wouldn't have to make it too big, but I just do what I can with my hand axe and clawing away at the dirt to make a suitable hole enough for him.
Yeah, the only actual barricade to loosening this earth off is actually the roots of the plants growing around this water. So you're able to cut through them pretty easily and break out and pull out these these dirt clumps, these root clusters, and kind of just pull out. And you're able to make a shallow grave because if you go any deeper, there's more water near here. So you're only able to make about a 2-foot shallow grave, but you're able to make it long enough, perhaps, to have him, laying down in the shallow grave.
Then I'd probably place him down into the grave and turn my head over to Red and say, "Do you want to say a few words before I bury him?"
And Red would just say, "This land is full of death. What's one more?"
At that, Xerxes would say, "Basha was a kind man, very unheard of in these lands. I met him soon after I escaped from the gladiator pits. I had no supplies, so I collapsed due to exhaustion. He took me in, healed me back to full health, shared his supplies. Death is common, but the death of a kind man is rare."
Man, that's deep.
And Red would just she would just turn away. She was still sitting. She didn't get up to go and help him. She would just bow her head and just kind of turn even more away from the direction of the burial.
Okay.
Cry dry, silent tears. He doesn't have eyes.
Then I think Xerxes would just slowly start to push the dirt over the grave, starting with his lower body, kind of working his way up. Then take one more look at the face of the hobbit and probably take a sigh of regret and slowly push the rest over.
And what is something that Xerxes would do as kind of a custom or tradition from the home village that he's from and the dead that they would have?
Spit in his face.
I think if Xerxes actually, he would take like a piece of supplies, probably a piece of food or something that he had, and place it on top of the grave. Because from his homeland, people who often died ventured out into the wilderness seeking supplies or food for the rest of the village, and often they die. So when they buried their dead, they'd often leave a bit of supplies to commemorate the sacrifice, essentially, that they made in order to find sustenance for everyone else to keep on going. So he'd relinquish a bit of his own food and place it on top of the grave for Basha.
And so, yeah, I imagine you place like 3 small berries or something on a little stem just on top of the grave afterwards. Something small, right? Something
Try to just make it like decorative too.
Yeah, something decorative, but something symbolic more than anything.
And at that, I think Xerxes would turn around, kind of walk over to Red and say, "I notice you meditate a lot. Master Basha, he said he could sense some potential in me, some source of untapped power, but I was too full of rage and undisciplined to control it. He said he wanted to help me, so I stayed. But after 2 weeks, all the man had me do was breathing practices. I thought he was going to teach me some secret fighting technique. So I told him breathing isn't going to help me crush every single fiend on this planet to fine dust, and left. But now look where that got him. So tell me, why do you do this meditation? Do you see any actual benefit in these practices?"
And I think maybe out of like irony or just to maybe bug Xerxes, Red would at this just take in a deep breath and blow it out again, and she would say, I was at that place too when Elder Basha found me. Angry. But I stayed. And I think I stayed because I knew if I didn't stay with him that I would die. And that would be the difference between you and I. You didn't have that threat of death upon you, and to me the threat of death saved me, and so it has protected me thus far. And so I would use what Elder Basha says, even though of how ridiculous they may have seemed sometimes, and whether it helped me or not, it taught me that discipline and all of that is what saves you, not anger, not, by your own strength. And then she just shrugs, but each to their own.
I see. Then maybe I'll give his teachings another chance. I suppose it's the least I can do to honor his memory. And then Xerxes would just kind of... go for it.
I think at that, Red would maybe just pat the ground beside her as kind of an invitation for him just to sit in the quiet that is right now, and just to see what he would do.
I think currently Xerxes would say, maybe another time, but I'm weak. I must rest. We'll convene in the morning. And then Xerxes would kind of wander off back to the cave where he put Varhilion. And I'd probably lie down due to exhaustion, just want to sleep, take a rest. I'm out.
Yeah, and as you lean up against the cave wall, body kind of slumps, crouched, sitting, relaxing. You see the shadows in this canyon become longer and longer as the sun slowly starts to descend as it turns from afternoon to evening to dusk. You can feel the chillness in the air as the sunlight disappears, as the hot turns into temperate into cold. You need to huddle around this campfire now in the cold of night. As you put the grasses back, or actually, I guess, Red, what are you going to do with this tiefling? She's not stirring yet.
Yeah, I would. Is she's still breathing though, right?
She's still breathing, yes.
Yeah, and so I would just go and get some of the wood, use my axe to kind of cut down some of these petrified trees, and maybe take a piece of the burning log from the fire and put it over next to her, just to keep her warm. But I would, or she would sit far away from both of the fires.
In the cave? Or out of the cave?
Out of the cave.
Yeah, okay, so you find a spot where you're within earshot of both your companions in the cave and the tiefling that is resting near a warm fire, probably sheltered from the elements by the canyon wall, and probably dry her. So she's not in direct sunlight and getting heat stroke.
No, she would be. I kind of pictured her against a wall.
Yeah,
that's what I kind of imagined. But yeah.
And so you find yourself, Red, dozing on and off, in and out of sleep. You have a dream where you can't move. You look around. It's dark. You can't see. You can't see because you have no eyes. Never mind. It's dark. It's quiet. But you hear one sound. The sound of a metal blade. Shing. 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 Being sharpened by some kind of grindstone. Shing. You feel something around your wrists above your head. Some kind of rope, some ties. You're too weak to move them. You feel something warm on your belly. You feel the warmth of your own blood trickling down. You feel like a knife through butter, some blade slicing again at another spot on your belly. You feel a gentle yet rough-skinned hand trace on your belly, collecting this blood. And you wake up. And you're in the morning and you have a long rest and stuff. In the meantime, Xerxes, you get your long rest. You have a much more restless sleep than even Red did. You're haunted by voices. They're thundering, but they're quiet. They're whispering, they're loud, they're yelling. These many voices, this choir of voices. You can't make out what they're saying. Yet you feel like you have to do something for them. The only thing you can picture, the only thing that you can even see when these voices are yelling at you and talking, whispering, is the image of a hand, a gauntleted hand with its metal fingers wrapped around some kind of sword, clutching it by the blade and not the hilt. That's all you can think of. All you can see. You can't get the image out of your mind. It's burnt into your mind. And you wake up. You wake up to Varhelion doing something at the fire. What is Varhelion doing in the morning?
He's got out, like, some books, and he's just kind of sitting reading them in between kind of wrapping bandages around his, like, knees and but around the wound, the big ugly wound on his neck, kind of trying to cover it up, like, just so that it heals better. And I'm gonna, so I can spend hit dice, right?
Yes. And also, what of the cat ghost that you had conjured earlier?
It's kind of curled. It's daytime now, right?
Yeah, morning. It's the break of morning.
It's more so because it's morning. The cat is now curled up, almost looking flesh-like. It just kind of like if you try to focus on it too much, the little ginger cat curled up on my lap kind of fades from view, but it looks almost real, more so than just the ghostly form of a cat around its bones.
And so
it's sitting on my lap.
Mechanically, both all three of you would have had to have eaten the 3 days of food and the water. I believe you guys did that last session.
We ate the meat that the orcs were.
Yeah, yes, and the water. Yeah. So, but now it's a new day, and so you have to find a time to do such a thing again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Varhelion, in your morning activities. Sorry, Jay, I'll let you go after this. In your morning activities, Varhelion, as you kind of came to much more rested, the throbbing of your head and your neck, you can still feel the pain. You're able to patch it up. You found this huge hole in the ground where the bloodghast had burst from. And it's a hole that descends farther into the earth. It's
That's
dark.
Gross.
It's dank, but it probably extends for a far distance.
Is anyone else in the cave with me?
Xerxes is just coming to at this point. He's kind of like snapping out from his restless sleep.
How wide is the the little hole?
It's about 4 feet wide. It kind of caved in a lot when the blood gas burst out of it, as the loose kind of stone and stuff fell down. Oh, also mechanically, we need to spend 3 uses of a healer's kit for this long rest. Just for patchy McUppy.
Yeah, that was going to be my
I
question for the
spent-
hit die.
Yeah,
If
okay.
you can spend that.
I spent my 4 hit dice, or 3 hit dice, and I healed up to 20. Lucky rolls. Thank God. I don't
and
want to
then
die.
the long rest then also, Ryan, would restore 1 hit dice back to you.
Okay.
So if you spend 3, then you get back 1.
I need to.
And I think as Xerxes is coming to kind of just feel like groggy, like rubbing his face, just snapping out of it, and realize that the voices are gone. Then he would take the pendant that he wears off of his neck and kind of just stare at it very contemplatively. The pendant, of course, bearing the same sign that he saw in his dream, the iron gauntlet grabbing the blade of this sword, and just spend a few moments looking at it before raising his gaze up to Varhelion, and probably saying something like, "You're feeling better."
I kind of hop up and I say much, and I kind of take my satchel with my well-worn burned spellbook in it and kind of collect up these other tomes that I have and fold them into it. And didn't what's his name had how many days worth of food? And
He had a bunch of
Bash's
water,
cupboard?
I think.
Yeah, he had water and food. I have 3 gallons of water left from the big roll I made on the suck up the demon blood.
Yeah, so Basha had 4 days of food you could you scavenge from his house, along with 1 gallon of clean water in a ceramic chipped basin that he had boiled away from the murky pond outside.
I should have done some more of that last night because of my waters. I'll pour that into my water skin, so I've got 4 gallons of water on me, which is enough for 1 more day for each of us. Is it?
Yeah, basically it's a gallon a day.
Okay. I think after saying that, Xerxes would put his pendant back around his neck, kind of tuck it into his armor so it's safe, and then he'd get up and kind of eat some of the rations, drink the rest of the water, the 1 gallon from his water skin.
Gonna
And,
eat that
refill it.
perfectly good dead orc outside.
Oh yeah, or that scorpion or whatever they were cooking up.
I'm gonna go eat some scorpion, but then I want to investigate this hole in the ground.
Yeah, awesome.
Because I'm wondering why there was a bloodghast living in Basha's house. Because Basha's body didn't show any signs of having been, like, drained of blood.
Mhm.
And so while Varhelion does so, Red, you come to. You're a little bit thirsty. Your mouth is parched from waking up directly in the sun like you are. Your skin feels dry. You've long since you've sweat. You've stopped sweating for a bit here.
Yeah, and any change with the tiefling?
You tell me, Megan, is the tiefling there or not?
Yes. Yes, she is. But she has not woken yet.
The tiefling has stirred. She's in a different position, but she is still unconscious. It seems like she's rolled over or something.
Yeah, and so I would slowly get up, feeling the ache in my bones from just being in one position all night and kind of having my neck at a weird angle. And I would go over to Varhelion and say, "Do you have any of that water left, by chance?"
I hand over my water skin. which is heavy with water in it. And I go and kind of collect a ceramic dish from Basha's house. Is there still kind of embers on the fire?
I assume that you've kept the fire going throughout the
and
night
so-
because it's very chilly.
Yeah, and
Despite
so
having some
the
kind of
fire's-
insulation, yeah, you kept
I
it going.
take the ceramic dish and fill it with murky lake water to hopefully boil off some more for us before we make our way out.
Yeah, and Basha has set up a little apparatus where the steam would catch and collect on this on the large, leaves of some plant far to the south of here. So as the steam would condense on the leaves, he was able to drain them off into basins. And so you're able to set it up in a similar way.
Yeah.
And so, give me a survival check to see how well you can do this. To see what the water yield is.
What's my survival skill? 120. I'm old. I've had to learn to live.
So yeah, a total of 20.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah, so you're able to get a pretty good yield off of this, getting another gallon of water.
Cool. So I'm going to put us at 2 because I assume I'm just going to give what's his name a gallon of water over the day. Or
Yeah.
maybe his fortitude's strong enough that he can drink mucky lake water.
I have no need for purification.
That's going to take a couple hours. While that's going on, I'm going to go rummage around in that hole. And see
imagine-
what's what.
Yeah, Xerxes is probably still in there as he was, eating and drinking or whatever, just getting up, like regaining his strength again in the morning.
Yeah, so Verhelion, kind of inspects this hole. Xerxes, you see him do so, and Greg is like, there's a body outside, no worries. So yeah, Verhelion, as you peer down to this hole, maybe with the
Bats
light
fly
source you
up.
have, you get your face eaten off by a bunch of blood-sucking bats. Just this, as you look down this hole, the descent itself isn't that far. It's actually kind of at a slow incline, and it goes down maybe another 5-10 feet deeper into the earth over the span of maybe 20 or 30 feet at an angle deeper in the ground.
Does it look like it opens up at the bottom? Like into like a wider space?
Absolutely, yeah. And even as you look down, you see some kind of makeshift, hardened earth steps. They're smaller. They have smaller steps than would fit a human-sized creature.
But like a tiny person could go down there.
Yeah, exactly. They're sized for a
I'm-
creature smaller than a human.
I'm gonna creep my way down there.
Yeah.
And
And as you kind of pass into the hole, you see what looked like some kind of hold on. Come on, notes. Come on, notes don't fail me now. You see amongst the earth that the bloodghast had kind of unearthed are bits of thatching, it seems, like interweb or intermeshed grass that would act as kind of a rug, or you suspect a covering of this hole. You see the two distinct pieces on either side has kind of been ripped apart by the claws. And as you descend, your elven eyes can accustom easily to this darkness as things turn to gray and black and white for you. You continue along this 30-foot descent deeper. It's dark, it's dim, it's claustrophobic. The smell of death just pervades your senses. It opens up into a larger room, perhaps 20 or 30 feet wide. It's not a perfect circle, it's kind of, at an odd, irregular shape. There's like a bench, a table set up made of, it's an old rotten wood table, perhaps scavenged from a home. Atop it are what look to be rusty farm tools.
Hmm.
Something, shears, a sickle, a knife, a mattock, a shovel, a pitchfork leaning against the wall. You see 3 gaunt corpses hang, crucified in a sense to the cave wall. Their skin is just tight against their bone. Their hands bound by rope and also pinned above their heads. There looks to be a big, thick, rusted metal nail embedded into the cave wall. There is a kind of a mixture of like grass and straw and dirt as the floor, which softens your footsteps, quieting them, acting kind of like a rug, a carpet. A 4th crucifixion apparatus is empty. You can see where the nail would hang and where the feet might be bound and the wood beams that support it. At the base of this one, there's this burlap sack that kind of has irregular shapes inside of it. It seems to have something in it. What the heck are you gonna do?
Can I examine the farm tools to see what's kind of covering them?
Yeah, absolutely. Give me an investigation check.
What is on them? That's not very good. Oh, I mean, relatively. Oh, investigations intelligence 14.
Yeah, so you're able to tell immediately that these rusty farm tools are just caked in dried blood along their blades and on the metal portions. And the shovel against the wall, and the shovel has fresh dirt on it, on its shovel part.
Head.
You see, again, as you kind of look around, you catch the glimpse of the fact that there's this large hole beneath the empty apparatus. It looks like some kind of earth has been caved in as well.
Since it's been some time since Farhillion went down there, I think Xerxes would just kind of lean over the hole and shout down, "Anything down there? Any fields I can rip up?"
No. I think it would be better if you stayed up there. It's kind of unstable down here. Don't know if it could really hold someone your height bumping into the walls. I'll come back with what I've got.
Yeah, and the tunnel.
There's nothing worth it. I'm not interested.
The tunnel that you went through definitely was very short. Like you had to crouch to get through. But when you entered over into this larger room, the ceiling is tall enough to accommodate your height.
Yeah, that's why Xerxes didn't follow him down there in the first place. He's like, too.
Yeah, very, very cramped and very claustrophobic.
Yeah.
I want to investigate the bodies. Like, I think I know what's been happening here, but...
Yeah, and go ahead and do so.
That's not very good at all. 5. Can
These
I roll
bodies-
Arcana?
I mean, so it's hard to make out the details in this really low light. The black and white, your eyes are hazy at this point. You just, you can identify them as, human bodies.
Yeah.
Right? Of, one's male, 2 are female, various age range. I mean, what age range can there be when you die at the age of 40? But
They look like adults, yeah.
Yeah, definitely adults.
But the one of them could be 20 and the other ones could be mid 30s.
Yeah, one of them could be 15, right?
Yeah.
But the details are hard to make out in this very dim.
But I noticed that there was kind of fresh dirt on the shovel head. Or there was dirt on it.
There's definitely fresh dirt.
Okay. So, Can I investigate the bag, the burlap sack?
Yeah, go for it.
19.
Yeah, so you pull it open, and inside, you find the former belongings of whoever this bag belonged to. You see inside is this journal, along with multiple stubby little pieces of charcoal. And one thing you know of Archelian is that the ability to write
It's
is a very,
rare.
very, very rare ability, yeah. But it's not unknown. Some people know how to read and write. But this journal, it's caked in blood. It's burnt, it's torn. It's and really ragged. It looks like it was, it's a repurposed book from the old times that's just been plundered and written over as you kind of thumb through the pages. The original text has long been faded, but the scrawlings, they're smudged. You can kind of see the finger smears in this charcoal of this notebook, this journal. And I'm going to screen share what you're able to make out of this journal.
Okay.
Let me know if this is legible for you. If not, I'll just read it. I'll read it out loud too.
Okay.
Charcoal writing covers this old faded ledger. The pages of this journal are soaked with blood. The only legible entries are the following. Day 6. Ankle still swollen. The poultice burns my skin, but at least I can move my foot now. I'd have been dead meat if it weren't for this old halfling. He's got good timing, I can say that. Day 9. Stood for the first time in over a week. Still hurts to stand, though. I think I've learned my lesson about climbing gorges in the dark. Never thought I'd meet someone friendly here in the Scar. Oh, I can zoom in. Dope. All right. Day 21. Basha, and it's kind of scratched out. Elder Basha insists that I've got the touch, whatever that is. His tortoise won't stop staring at me. On the page following this entry is a crude drawing of an arcane sigil. Day 23. Found some more charcoal in the collapsed hut on the other side of the pond. I thought I'd for sure stop being able to keep a journal. Almost got bit by spiders there. Roasted them alive with a touch. I thought it would hurt more, but the flames just painlessly leapt from my fingers. The next few pages are caked thoroughly in blood, beyond readability, followed by what seems to be a bunch of pages ripped out, including one page that is smeared by a bloody handprint. Day 38. I've buried it under the bed of the pond. I can still hear it whispering. I hope Elder doesn't find out what I've been up to. Day 39. More lessons on channeling the touch. Too tired to focus. The whispers, they keep me awake. On the page following this entry is another crude drawing of an arcane sigil, followed by several more illegible, blood-soaked pages. Day 51. We've been walking for days now. Elder insisted we go under the cover of night. At least it's not as bloody hot. Day 53. Saw blood-hand orcs in the distance. Had to take the long way through the canyon. Day 55. More walking. My last canteen is empty. My tongue feels like sand. Day 56. We've arrived at last. It's a cramped cave at the bottom of a canyon. Bash is cooking up a goat we trapped earlier. The smell made me realize how famished I was. Day 57. Neck is sore. Must have been bit by beetles last night. Gonna set up a hammock. Day 59. So many carrion birds roosting. So many carrion birds roosting in the trees. Yet there's no body in sight. I don't remember there being so many carrion birds when we arrived a few days ago. More blood-stained pages. Day 91. Woke up with a bandage around my belly. It hurts to move. The cut is so deep. Turns out I was sleepwalking and cut myself on razor grass. Day 94. Damn beetles have learned how to climb into my hammock. Got bit again. Day 95. I feel really tired and really, really, really thirsty. Day 99. My heart no longer beats. My skin has gone cold. What's happened? The next few pages are bloodstained and covered in incoherent charcoal scribblings.
Can I roll Arcana to identify the arcane sigils?
Absolutely, yeah.
20. 17 plus
so,
3.
There are two of them. The first one is the spell Burning Hands.
Okay.
And the second one is the spell Shield. And
I-
so you can copy these spells and kind of decipher them and interpret them into your own spell book. 20 hours per spell and 50 gold piece worth of materials per spell.
Okay.
And these
so
materials involve exotic inks, perhaps material to test the spells with.
So I need to get to like a civilization, like a town.
Yeah, or be able to harvest, raw ingredients. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna rip out those 2 pages, and
Okay.
take the
Yeah.
arcane sigils with me, and then I'm gonna kind of take. Well, I'll pocket the journal for now.
Yeah.
And is there anything else in the bag other than charcoal?
There's a small bone dagger,
Okay.
as well as excuse me, as well as just give me 1 second here. Find it in my notes. You find a small broken piece of what looks to be something like a long shaft of dark wood. It has that unmistakable just humming and thrumming of magical essence. It's, the size of a pencil in both width and it's just shape. A pencil shaped strand of dark wood.
Okay.
Kind of like a wand.
Yeah, I figured. And yeah, can I do medicine on the other 2? Like the 3 bodies here, other than this one.
I'd only let you do kind of a reroll of what you did earlier if you've got some source of light.
Okay.
Or
can
better
I
way, yeah.
Snap and make light.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna do I actually want to see what happened to them. I don't really care about like who they are, what happened.
Yeah.
Medicine is 16.
Yeah, so immediately when you snap this orange light, all the color rushes into your eyes as you just see just how ghastly the sight is in full color. You see these bodies hanging up, their necks kind of fall into one side. You can see their rib cages just kind of poking, just pushing against the skin. The skin just kind of tight against them. And you see the very visible, just big splotches, 2 of them on each of their necks. They're black, and there's little like necros, like gangrene-like tendrils kind of spreading out from them in these 2 pinprick marks. All 3 of them have these marks on their necks. There's various scars all along their bodies, near their wrists, near their bellies, near the other parts of their neck, their chin, their legs, places where major arteries would be.
Yep. Yeah, I think I get it. Well, I'm gonna. Can I use this little bone dagger and kind of break 4 pieces of kind of lengths of wood about this long from them?
Of what
No.
wood?
Like from the table, the old table.
Sure, yeah.
Like kind of break a plank into 4.
Yeah, you could probably
kind of
saw through it. It takes some time, but the serrated edge of like this, it's some creature's jawbone, and it still
Okay.
has the teeth on it. Yeah, you're able
Well,
to.
I just want to get like 4 roughly wedge-shaped things and then sharpen them.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It would
and
take time to do so, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, but we've got water boiling and stuff, and they can occupy themselves cooking. I mean, if they want to come down here, they're welcome to, but I'd prefer if they didn't.
Yeah, so you're able to take the legs of this table, this bench,
Yeah.
and kind of flip it over, take the
Ends
tools
off.
off, kind of
Yeah.
pull these legs off, kind of whittle the ends, yeah, to make these steak-like.
Yeah, and then I just kind of break them over my knee, and I like kind of just grimace and stake each of the 3 creatures that are held up on the kind of crucifixes, the X-shaped crucifixes.
Yeah, and as you just do so, and kind of the puff of like just dry bone and flesh. There's no moisture left in these creatures. You just stake them right through the chest. They don't react. They don't flinch.
Yeah.
The only stirring is the pushing of air out of their lungs.
Yeah. Or what's left of them.
Yeah.
Okay, then there was nothing else in the room, really. Just the bag.
Yeah, the bag, the farm tools.
Yeah.
3 bodies.
Okay.
And there's also there's a huge pit as well, though, beneath one of them, beneath the 4th empty crucifix.
Does it look like something dug there? Can I look down it? Roll perception or investigation?
Yeah.
Investigation or perception?
Investigation, because you're actively looking at something.
20.
And piecing together clues.
20.
So piecing together these clues, you can see kind of like the scratching at the earth. These like vague claw marks. It looks like something clawed itself out of this hole and made itself. You see like kind of piles of dirt around this hole, like a way that a boring animal would make. Something climbed out of the hole that had claws.
Yeah. So like, how deep does the hole go? Like a ways? I mean, it's probably collapsed now, but
yeah, it definitely collapsed in. But the way that the loose earth is, the hole probably at its deepest, it probably is about maybe 5 feet deep. Enough for a person to be well below the ground level. And so for the rest of you folks, did you want me to send you like a picture of what this journal was so you can read it on your own if you didn't catch what I said, or like just look at it a little later?
Well, sure, might as well send it. Yeah. It's good to have.
Yeah. And I'm gonna so I'm gonna crawl out of here and kind of like, do I see the ground where Basha was?
Back on the main level.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ground is still there where Basha was.
He wasn't very deep, was he?
Basha was just like lying right on the ground, dead, impaled by an arrow.
No, like outside. I want to go like outside.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, when he got buried by Xerxes, yeah. I mean, you probably have to discuss with the command, like, what happened to Basha's body? Oh, yeah, we buried him.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I say, what happened to the halfling?
We had to bury him. His skin was flaking. He wasn't going to last much longer.
Okay. I'm gonna go outside and kind of surreptitiously just into the fire, take out the bloodstained journal from my bag and burn it.
Okay.
And as Varhelion kind of leaves, I think Xerxes would kind of follow him out, kind of interested in what Red's doing as well.
Yeah,
and you see Varhelion burning a book.
I'd probably note, hey, what was that?
Nothing good could come of what was written there.
It's not like I can read anyways.
Yeah.
That's also true.
Yeah, I know. Neither of my companions can read. I could just write all of my thoughts down. But I'm gonna go over to Basha's like burial plot and just kind of take out this last little. He's not very deep, is he?
No, Xerxes wasn't able to dig it very deep.
Okay. I kind of brush the earth away from where I think his chest would be. And then I'm gonna take this like little wooden wedge stake, crude wooden stake, and put it into his chest. I know it'll take a couple minutes of work.
Yeah, and as you do so, you make this. The irony of it is you make a makeshift tombstone, grave marker for this Basha, is what your companions see. But you truly know what you're doing here by driving a stake through Basha's chest.
Good. Okay, so I clap my hands together and I say, I found an old spell book down there. It was ruined by the blood of that creature. I've got a few spells I could write down, But I also need to acquire more reagents for my spells. So we'd better leave this place. If we find any... if you kill a couple scar birds, I can drain the water, the life water from them. Probably get a bit of water to get us through. We've got enough food to last us with this orc. If we dry this orc and, get it all set up. We've got rations to last us a couple days. Within the next couple days, I know there's the rubble moot. Gather to discuss the year's happenings and exchange information. It's a cultural festival. Something that popped up since the ruins. I think we're about, judging by the sun, it should be only a few days, maybe a week now. I don't know. I'm not the best with astronomy. But we need to, if we get there, we can probably sell some things, see what's what in the wasteland. It's a good place for news. They don't typically let outsiders in, non-elves, that is, but I can maybe vouch for you. If not, you can camp a day's ride from the moot.
And at that, Xerxes would probably reply, I don't know about these reagents you seek, but if there's information about fiends that can be found out, I'd be down to go. I only seek to kill every fiend on this planet.
Good.
Do you think we could find any information about the whereabouts of Basha's killers there?
I have some suspicions, but I'm not sure. It might be worth asking. He was known to some elves, especially the merchant caravans and such that travel back and forth across the Scar. Well, nobody travels across the Scar, but the occasional person would have seen him, so we might be able to get something there.
Very well. Whoever killed Basha will pay in blood.
And with that, all three of you kind of standing out in the sun around this tombstone of Basha. The tiefling slumped in the corner away against the canyon wall starts to stir. She starts to climb onto her feet.
I think since Xerxes is so exhausted after battle the day before, he didn't even realize that this fiend or this tiefling wasn't even dead. So I think at seeing her move, he would be very startled and run up and pin her to the ground, maybe get on her, and then
I think before, if I could, before Xerxes goes to,
I'm motioning,
I can
striding towards her,
yeah, I can probably hear that, and then I hear the rustling and kind of make two ends meet. I would get out my axe and hold it out in front of him as to kind of not clothesline because he's very tall, but
put something in my way.
Stop. Yeah, put something sharp in the way, and just say touch her and die, and just stand there. But if Xerxes notices, she has her katana outstretched in the direction of the tiefling.
This Xerxes would say, "How dare you? You let her live."
And she would chime up, this tiefling, say, "I'm surprised you kept me alive, Ratcatcher."
Consider us even. And then she would just do this knowing nod.
What do I say? What do I say to Bouchon?
It doesn't matter now. All things are tied up in my eyes, and that's all that matters now. What you do is your decision.
I need to show him something to prove you're dead.
And she kind of thinks for a moment, but then nods. Very well. And she would walk up to the tiefling and hand her something in her palm, and you hear like the clink of not metal, but like this almost like bone clinking together, and you would hear that as she rested that in the tiefling's hand, and before she left, she would kiss the tiefling's cheek and just say, "Take care of yourself, B," and walk away.
I think as she walks away, Xerxes would yell out, "If I see you again, I'll rip your throat out." Just kind of shaking in anger that someone with fiend blood in them would be allowed to walk away.
And B, the tiefling, kind of just like with these hugely taloned hands, kind of just like rub the cheek that you kissed as you turn away. She holds the thing you have, the thing you gave her, tight in her hands. And with a gesture of some kind of magical energy, her legs blur as she starts taking these long strides through the dust of the sands, running away. And as she does so, she says, "You can count on not seeing me ever again." And she disappears, taking these huge long strides, twice the pace of a normal creature, a normal humanoid.
I think after she strides away, Xerxes would then kind of turn to Red and say, "You've got some explaining to do. The only reason why I've stayed in your company is you assisted me with that demon back there. And it's been 48 hours and I haven't seen you consume any fiend blood, so I've let it slide. But if you're going to let all these creatures walk, this can't continue."
She would turn and just say, "I know. It was only once, and make no mistake, if I see her again, I will personally drive every one of my weapons to her body. But I owed her my life. One time she saved me. And now we're even. The score is settled."
Very well. Shall we continue on then?
Yes, let us continue on to where Verhelion was mentioning.
The
What's
Rebel
that place called again?
The Rebel Moat. It's not a place so much as a meeting. I mean, they meet around the ruins of an old elven city, but it's more of a festival than it is a place.
Okay.
If
B, the tiefling, left something behind in her haste and in her confusion and just this all going on. She left behind a quiver of 12 arrows. These arrows have wooden shafts, red fletchings, and obsidian tips. These are the arrows, these are the arrows that were crafted and by Bouchon smiths and fletchers. And the arrow is of the same make as the arrow that was through Bash's chest.
These are just like on the ground, like in plain
Yeah.
sight. Like would I recognize them as ones that?
The red fletching definitely catches your eye. Absolutely.
At that, I think Xerxes would walk over to the ground, pick one of the arrow up, and look at it. Notice the red fletching, then kind of like crush like the tip in its or the shaft in its arm, and just like throw it against the wall. Like, oh, she had something to do with Bash's death, and you let her walk. How could you do this? We must track her.
And at this, you would get a reaction from Red in that she stops and just kind of clenches her fists. And she says, "It's Sean. That's who was behind this."
Who's this Bouchon?
The Demon Lord. I worked under him for many years. I don't know why he would target Elder Basha, but B is not. She just carries out the mission. She just carries out what she's told to do. It's Bouchon who's behind all of this.
They're all one and the same, and they shall all fall to my blade. Nevertheless, we must go to this elvish gathering, find what we can, and then I'll hunt them down.
And Red would just kind of shake her head and, fists still clenched, say, "Lead the way, Elf."
Okay, so I'm gonna roll for what would that be? Survival to get a general bearing towards the rubble moot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to get a direction.
14.
Yeah, and so as you spent more time, you've accustomed yourself to the kind of the constellation this last night.
Well, not this last night.
Well, when you woke up and you saw the little bit of the constellations ahead before before the morning happened. You're able to say, okay, that's that one, that's this one. So you're roughly, this many blah blahs. Yeah, you know that roughly almost due southeast of here, beyond the scar, is where there is Rubble Hill, the place of the rubble moot among the Ash Elves. It's about a week's journey away, beyond the Badlands of the Scar, through the Ash Bowl itself, this sea of soft, silty ash. And at its center is the Rubble Hill. And as you follow Varhelian's sense of direction, as he leads you out of this canyon, you leave behind this dusty cairn of unfortunate victims. And that is where we're going to end the session.
Cool.
And I get bonus points for using the title of the session in the session itself.
Dusty Cairn.
A dusty cairn.
How many bonus points do you get? Like 10?
Well,
We should keep track of these bonus points because I'm gonna hold you to those.
Well, I've got 2 points so far. One from last session, one from this session.
Okay, what's a Cairn? I thought it was a bird or something.
A cairn is
That's a cairn.
Okay.
a cairn is like a tomb.
It's like typically like a mound of rocks or dirt with someone buried underneath it.
Oh.
Synonyms are barrow, kurgan, and dolmen.
There we go. Right, archaeology students.
Dictionary points.
Ryan gets the bonus points instead of me. That's what happens when you play with an archaeologist. Or anthropologist, whatever it is. I don't even know what you're in anymore.
It's anthropology now, but I'd still go by archaeologist before I'd say like an anthropologist.
Archaeological anthropology.
I mean, they're all the same thing. It's all the same methods and theory. It's just
So, Megan,
practice.
you can hit the stop recording button now. I think while we just